remind the first question that our esteemed chair asked us. How could we impact on scientific communication? Really, if we try... Okay. So how could we impact on scientific communication? Well, if speaking about international organizations, because my Director General and me were representing an international organization, International Center for Scientific and Technical Information, I have some answers, maybe. Maybe it's up to you. How could you estimate my answers? But answer number one. I suggest that international organizations and institutes who have digital resources maybe must empower people and enhance people to obtain this scientific information. Please remember, today we were asked, do you know digital dinosaurs? No one raised the hand, no one. But at the same time, I know absolutely that the people just look like digital dinosaurs. So I would suggest that our first mission, and universities as well for sure, that people help to obtain this information by inviting them to participate in different digital campaigns to know more information, and besides trying to achieve that they use this scientific information in their everyday life. We have already discussed that men and women have their own practices with scientific information and with digital units. Yes, okay, but we can for sure suggest different practices how to empower people to obtain this information. It's maybe the first answer. The second answer, what we could do else. Maybe we could promote the fulfillment of national plans and projects. Today we had very interesting experience in Uttar Pradesh. Why not to join our resources and to make this very wonderful e-government practice to know throughout the world, and ask people, see if there are some digital abilities and several ideas how to use these abilities. We could make this practice spread all over the world and try people to make their participation in world governance as well. Why not? And speaking about units in that case, we would ask them to participate with all their hearts in taking the decisions to spread scientific and technical information, and to use how we could use, and to explain them how we could use this information in everyday life. So the second way to support national projects or of national governments, or maybe United Nations goals in spreading scientific technical information and uses of this information. The third idea, speaking about our narrow circle of scholars, of researchers, those who are belonging to so-called scientific world. Why not to join our efforts to empower open access to all our scientific laboratories, to those people who are thinking how to produce scientific and technological information. In that case, we could spread information of the results of their activities with our digital resources, and why not to do it? Together with universities, together with other stakeholders about we were speaking about. Fourth, I suppose that international organizations and universities could participate in organizing academic and youth mobility. During these mobility sessions, youth or researchers may share their best practices not only on the results, how to obtain the best results on their scientific work, but at the same time they will communicate to each other and they will share best practices how to involve in this process of communication other people, other researchers, other stakeholders. Why not? And the fifth answer, what could we do else? To my mind, we could hold special events, just like we have now, and we could do in these events two main maybe goals. The first goal, to communicate on better results of our researchers, of our investigations, and at the same time, we could have different practical seminars within this scientific event. How could we share the results of our scientific work to common people? And how could we make common people using the results of our research? So at least maybe 5 answers. But the next discussion will be about language. Very crucial question, absolutely. Because coming to ages, please remember that when we speak about science, well, Buddhism science, Pali language, who speaks Pali now? No one. But nevertheless, from the middle of the 6th age before Christ, Pali, we still interested in Buddhism thought, in Buddhism scientific results and achievements. Then it was Pali, but after spreading via Indian and some other territories, there was another problem. How make people in Asia, in Europe, use the achievements of Pali science and Pali philosophy? And they used another language, Sanskrit, if you remember. Sanskrit is more useful for researchers of Asia and Europe at the same time. Then a new wave of historical dimension, it was Arabic language, and then Latin. So you see, the main idea is not where could we find the language that we could use for our scientific communication. It depends. It's not the most crucial question. The most crucial question that there would be people who could actively use one of the real languages which people are speaking about, and today is for sure it's English, but it's today, I don't know. Maybe you remember this experience with Esperanto, but you know that Esperanto does not work because there was no one nation speaking Esperanto. Maybe next epoch for scientific communication would be Spanish or Chinese. Don't mind. Our idea to communicate not only on the language, but to communicate on ideas and results of our activities. And therefore, well, and besides, I'm trying to remember 2 years ago, our center was organizing an international conference in Baku, capital of Azerbaijan. We discussed on the base of UNEC University models how the scientific research must be organized and held on the base of universities. I would say that for sure we speak English, yeah, for sure. But at the same time, there were people who tried to speak Azerbaijan, and even if they speak English, because they want that those people sitting in the hall and participating in the event, they hear Azerbaijan words and they try to communicate in Azerbaijan. So I would say that when we speak about language of science, we speak on one language. On the whole, it happens so that as the result, we speak on one language. This language could have national specific features, for example, just like Hindu or Russian or English or some others. But the language of science is only one language. It's a spirit in our mind. It's the results of our scientific activities and research. So I would say that speak one language. Well, thank you so much for my. So, thank you. A small intervention. Yeah, thank you.